Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The number one issue for all Australians right now is the ever-increasing cost of living pressures, and unfortunately they are increasing at a rapid rate. Everyone is affected and no one is immune. The young couple who has just purchased their first home, the mum and dad who are working long hours to feed their 3 kids, or the pensioner who is too scared to turn on the air conditioning. I want to thank the member for Flynn, Mr Colin Boyce, for raising this critical issue as a matter of priority. Well done. The Labor government promised a lot during the election, but these promises seem to have disappeared into the wild blue yonder. Labor promised a plan to bring down the cost of living. Labor promised cheaper electricity. They actually promised this 97 times. Labor promised a cheaper mortgage. Labor promised no changes to franking credits. But 6 months on, all Australians have from their government is a growing list of broken promises, causing fear and uncertainty in our communities. On budget night, this Labor government walked away from a commitment to reduce every household's energy bill by $275, a promise repeated over 97 times. Instead, what this government has given us is a 56% increase in power prices. It's getting harder and harder for families to make ends meet. So to enjoy the simple things in life, and those things are fast becoming luxuries. Garnier shampoo is now being replaced with home brand. A piece of rump steak is now too expensive, and minced meat is purchased instead. Tinned fruit and frozen veggies are replacing fresh produce. The Coalition had a plan to target this very issue in the agricultural visa. The labour shortages across our ag sector are creating significant strain on farmers and pushing up the cost of fruit and veggies. The National Farmer Federation have estimated we need 172,000 additional workers for the sector. Since the Labor government has scrapped the ag visa, except for Vietnam, and that's only thanks to the pressure from the Coalition, Labor has a plan for only 42,000 workers, and that leaves our farmers short 75% of what's required. Farmers have not got the certainty to plant and are having their produce fall to the ground. When there is no one to harvest the produce, it goes nowhere and the profit is zero. The inaction of the Albanese government is costing Australians at the checkout. In my electorate of Dawson, kids are missing out on playing sport because they have to travel to neighbouring towns to compete. This is purely due to the cost of fuel. Another choice forced on families: sports or food on the table. A pensioner who can't afford the expense of running their air conditioner will be forced to suffer in the stifling heat and humidity that my region experiences every summer. Constituents who need to travel for regular medical appointments with specialists, like smaller towns like Bowen, to main centres like Townsville, a 400-kilometre round trip, are struggling with the extra fuel costs. Do they make those trips, or do they neglect their health? People want to know what this government is going to get their act together and address the cost of living crisis. My people in Dawson deserve a government that does more than just congratulate themselves at every opportunity. They're crying out for real solutions that will ease the costs of growing pressures, that will bring electricity prices down and that will keep food on the table. Prime Minister, our country needs you to take responsibility. You're not in opposition, you're at the helm. Since the budget was announced, we've seen inflation hit 7.3%, the highest level in more than 3 decades. Homeowners with mortgages are feeling overwhelmed with their extraordinary payments. Already a family with a $750,000 mortgage is now paying $1,200 more each month compared to what they were prior to the election. I'm urging the Labor government to get the priorities of this nation right. We are staring down the barrel of a very bleak and very dark future. For the sake of the good people of Dawson and all Australians, it's time to put the cost of living crisis as priority number 1. And just for the record, Australia is not in $1 trillion debt. That's just another Labor lie and those figures are available to everybody. Have a look.
Authorised by Andrew Wilcox, LNP Mackay.